Have you ever found yourself feeling completely out of place or deeply unsettled in a crowd? Even if it's filled with people you know? Maybe you're surrounded by familiar faces, yet you feel like you're on a different wavelength. It's as if the noise and chatter of the crowd don't match the inner depth you carry. Perhaps you've noticed that certain types of people are naturally drawn to you, sensing a calm, grounding presence in your energy. But others, they seem to keep their distance, as if they're unsettled by something they can't quite understand. This isn't just a random feeling. It could be something much deeper. It's possible you're what some spiritual traditions call a chosen one, someone with a unique purpose, an energy, and a calling that set them apart. These individuals carry an aura that both draws people in and sometimes repels them, not because of who they are, but because of the energy they emit. This unique energy is powerful, magnetic, and at times, intimidating. In this video, we're diving deep into why chosen ones often struggle to be around large groups of people, exploring the intensity of their presence and the profound challenges they face as a result. If you're finding yourself resonating with these experiences, stay with us. You may even want to rewatch the video a few times to let the concept sink in on a deeper level. And as you watch, feel free to share your own story in the comments below. Your experiences could be exactly what someone else needs to feel understood on their journey. Let's take this journey together, uncovering why the path of the chosen one is both challenging and transformative. The concept of a chosen one is as ancient as humanity itself. Across cultures, spiritual traditions, and mythologies, there are stories of individuals set apart from the norm, people with a unique energy or sense of mission that shapes the way they interact with the world around them. These chosen ones don't just walk the same path as everyone else. They carve their own path, often feeling like they are following an invisible compass that others can't see. This distinct sense of purpose doesn't just influence their own lives, but also has a profound effect on those they encounter. You might wonder what sets these individuals apart. It's their presence, their energy, a kind of aura that's both captivating and intense. This isn't just charisma or charm. It's something much deeper and less easily defined. It's almost as if they carry an invisible mirror, reflecting back truths that others might not be ready to confront. Imagine someone walking into a room, and without saying a word, the entire energy shifts. Some people feel drawn in, as if they're pulled by an unseen force, while others might feel uncomfortable, even intimidated, sensing something that unsettles them on a subconscious level. Let's pause for a moment to consider what this really means. For chosen ones, this kind of presence can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they have the potential to connect with others on a profound level, to inspire, and to uplift. But on the other hand, this intense energy can make social interactions complicated, isolating, and even painful. The very essence of who they are, a blend of wisdom, strength, and purpose, often places them on a different wavelength from the people around them. Part 1. The intensity of a chosen one's aura. Chosen ones often find that their energy is simply too intense for certain people. It's like swimming in different waters. Some people are perfectly comfortable in the shallow end, splashing around, enjoying the lightheartedness. But chosen ones? They're naturally drawn to the depths, diving into spaces of inner wisdom, strength, and purpose. They don't just skim the surface. They're living in a realm where every interaction holds potential for meaning and insight. This depth, this intensity, can be both magnetic and overwhelming. People around them might feel an almost inexplicable pull, a curiosity that piques their interest and makes them want to know more. But at the same time, there's an equally strong, subconscious reaction that urges them to keep their distance. The intensity of a chosen one's energy stirs up something in others, sometimes a sense of admiration, and other times a subtle discomfort, as if something in them is being unearthed that they aren't ready to face. To really understand this, let's imagine a chosen one walking into a social gathering. They enter the room quietly, blending in like anyone else. Yet something shifts almost imperceptibly. People may not consciously notice, but they feel it, a kind of depth that's not usually present in casual settings. Some might feel drawn in, almost mesmerized, sensing there's more beneath the surface. It's as if this person is carrying a silent message, a reminder that there's more to life than meets the eye. However, others may experience a different reaction altogether. They might feel a need to look away, avoiding eye contact or even moving to the other side of the room. This isn't a conscious rejection, but rather an unspoken instinct to protect themselves from what the chosen one's presence seems to bring up. Being around someone who lives with such authenticity and depth can act like a mirror, reflecting back parts of themselves they may not be ready to explore. It's not personal, it's a reaction to the energy, the intensity, and the insight the chosen one embodies. Part 2. The power and isolation of authenticity. One of the most isolating aspects of being a chosen one is the unwavering commitment to authenticity. This isn't just a preference for being real or a simple dislike of pretense. It's a deep, almost unbreakable drive to be true to oneself. Even when that path diverges from the norm, chosen ones find it difficult, if not impossible, to compromise on this authenticity. They carry a need to honor their true nature, even if it means swimming against the current of societal expectations. For chosen ones, this dedication to living authentically comes with challenges, especially in social settings. Many social gatherings revolve around small talk and lighthearted conversations, topics that can feel draining or even meaningless to a chosen one. While others find joy in casual banter, chosen ones are left yearning for something deeper, more meaningful. They have little tolerance for superficiality and are naturally drawn to discussions that hold substance, that explore life's mysteries or unearth personal truths. This need for depth, however, often makes typical social interactions challenging. When they're surrounded by surface-level conversations, chosen ones can feel like they're trying to breathe underwater. They crave connections where authenticity flows freely. Yet these types of connections are rare in everyday social gatherings. Instead of feeling energized by such events, they might find themselves feeling drained or, at times, even alienated. Imagine being at a lively party or a family gathering where people are chatting about the latest trends, gossip, or weekend plans. For chosen ones, these exchanges can feel exhausting. They may be physically present, but mentally, they're elsewhere, longing for a conversation that resonates with their soul. Over time, this disconnect can make them feel like an outsider, someone who exists on a different wavelength altogether. Take, for example, the story of a woman who always felt out of place at large gatherings. While her friends seemed to thrive in the buzz of conversation and laughter, she often found herself retreating to quieter corners, seeking moments of solitude amid the noise. She yearned for deeper conversations, exchanges that went beyond the surface. Yet, those around her didn't quite understand her discomfort. Some of her friends even teased her, calling her too intense or too sensitive, unable to see that her need for depth was simply part of who she was. For her, authenticity wasn't just a preference, it was essential. Without it, she felt as though she was betraying herself, as if she were trying to fit into a mold that didn't align with her nature. This experience isn't uncommon for chosen ones, who often find themselves feeling isolated in social environments that value lightheartedness over depth. Part 3. The paradox of connection and solitude. For chosen ones, there's a paradox at play, a delicate balance between connection and isolation. Like anyone else, they deeply desire meaningful relationships, craving connections where they feel truly seen and understood. Yet, they're intense. Authentic energy often leads to the opposite result: isolation. It's not that they don't want connection. They absolutely do. But the level of depth and honesty they bring to interactions can sometimes feel too intense for others, who may pull back, sensing that they're unprepared or even unable to meet that level of openness. This paradox can feel like an emotional push and pull. On one hand, chosen ones open their hearts, yearning to share their perspectives and experiences. But on the other, they often find themselves feeling disconnected, as if they're speaking a language only a few can understand. This can make even everyday interactions feel challenging. especially when they're met with superficial responses or avoidance from others who aren't ready to engage at that depth. Imagine a chosen one reaching out to someone, sharing a part of their inner world, a thought, a feeling, a piece of wisdom they've uncovered. But instead of receiving a heartfelt response, they're met with silence, an awkward laugh, or a quick change of subject. The person they're speaking to might not know how to respond, feeling out of their depth or simply unprepared to engage. This kind of reaction, while subtle, can feel like a small but painful reminder to the chosen one that their perspective, however genuine, may be too much for others to handle. These moments of disconnect happen more frequently than many chosen ones would like to admit. It's a bittersweet reality. On one hand, they desire connection, yet on the other, they find that their depth can be overwhelming or even intimidating to those who prefer to keep things light. The outcome is often the same. The chosen one feels misunderstood, unseen, and ultimately, alone in their experience. Part 4. The spiritual warfare of authentic presence. Chosen ones often find themselves engaged in what could be described as a kind of spiritual warfare. This isn't a battle in the conventional sense. It's a deeper, more internalized struggle that comes from simply being true to themselves in a world that often values conformity. Their authenticity, by its very nature, disrupts the comfort zones of those around them. By standing firmly in their truth, chosen ones unintentionally shine a light on the inauthenticity or complacency that society can sometimes encourage. This commitment to living honestly and authentically can make them stand out, sometimes even making others uncomfortable. Imagine a chosen one speaking out against an injustice in a public forum. They're not simply relaying information. Their words resonate at a deeper level, stirring emotions, raising difficult questions, and even sparking controversy. People may feel drawn in by their sincerity and the power of their convictions, but they might also feel confronted, as if this chosen one's words are challenging beliefs they haven't yet examined within themselves. This response can be intense, for both the chosen one and those listening, as it invites everyone involved to look more closely at their own values, actions, and beliefs. This is where the path of the chosen one requires resilience. Authenticity, while fulfilling, often comes with its own set of challenges, and chosen ones must navigate resistance not only from the world around them but also from within. When they dare to challenge norms or question the status quo, they frequently face external pushback. Sometimes this comes as criticism, other times as subtle disapproval, and occasionally as outright hostility. It takes courage to stand alone in one's truth, especially in a world that tends to uphold the familiar over the new or uncomfortable. But the resistance chosen ones encounter isn't always external. They also wrestle with internal battles, fears, doubts, and insecurities that arise as they attempt to balance their truth with the realities around them. Questions like, "Am I doing the right thing?" or "Is this worth the struggle?" may cross their minds, adding layers of complexity to their journey. This inner conflict is a quiet yet persistent challenge, one that requires them to continually affirm their own worth and the value of their path. These internal battles, while difficult, serve an important purpose. They push chosen ones to grow, to clarify their values, and to solidify their convictions. Every time they confront a fear or overcome a doubt, they become stronger, more grounded in who they are and what they believe. The inner struggles become a kind of crucible, refining them and helping them become more resilient. These experiences shape them into individuals who are not easily swayed by external pressures, and who remain steadfast even in the face of adversity. For instance, a chosen one might feel the weight of social expectations pressing down on them, urging them to take the easy road, to blend in and keep their thoughts to themselves. But through self-reflection and inner work, they recognize that blending in would mean abandoning their purpose. By facing these internal battles head-on, they emerge with a stronger sense of self, knowing that their authenticity is worth the struggle. Part 5: Society and the Divergent Path of the Chosen One. In many ways, Chosen ones find themselves in a world that doesn't fully understand them. Society is built on structures, norms, and expectations that often prioritize conformity over individuality, predictability over introspection. For chosen ones, who naturally gravitate toward authenticity and depth, this can create a sense of dissonance, a feeling that they don't quite belong in the spaces they're expected to occupy. Imagine, for instance, a chosen one in a corporate setting. The values of the environment emphasize competition, achievement, and fitting into a specific role. There's often a focus on outward success, a culture that rewards those who can play by the rules. But for the chosen one, this environment can feel stifling. They may feel like a square peg in a round hole, constantly aware of an internal pull to a different path, one that honors their unique values, insights, and sense of purpose. They might try to blend in, to follow the corporate rhythm, but the feeling of disconnection persists, as if they're living in a way that doesn't align with their true self. While society may interpret this divergence as a flaw or even a weakness, chosen ones begin to understand it as an essential part of their journey. They realize that their difference isn't something to hide or suppress. It's a part of their purpose, a reminder that they're meant to walk a path distinct from the mainstream. This understanding can be empowering, offering them a new perspective on why they don't quite fit into traditional molds. Instead of seeing their uniqueness as a burden, they begin to see it as a calling. They recognize that their unconventional nature serves a purpose, not only for themselves but also for others who may feel similarly out of place in a society that emphasizes sameness. Their path, while challenging, holds the potential to guide and inspire those around them, showing others that it's possible to live authentically, even when that authenticity doesn't align with societal expectations. Part 6. Answering the call of a higher purpose. Chosen ones are often driven by something that goes far beyond their personal desires or material success, a higher purpose, a calling that feels like an invisible force guiding their every step. It's not something they actively sought out. Rather, it's a pull they feel deep within, as if a beacon is lighting the way forward. Even if the path itself remains unclear, this calling can feel like an ever-present whisper, a quiet but powerful reminder that there is a purpose waiting for them to fulfill, something larger than themselves. Imagine a chosen one who feels this calling like an internal compass, directing them even when they don't fully understand where they're headed. They might not have all the answers, but they feel compelled to follow this path, trusting that each step will reveal the next. This sense of purpose becomes a guiding force in their life, influencing their choices, shaping their values, and giving them the courage to walk a path that often diverges from societal expectations. To honor this calling, chosen ones often turn to solitude. For them, solitude isn't just a preference or a way to escape the demands of daily life. It's a necessary tool for cultivating their inner world. In solitude, they find a sacred space where they can connect with their higher purpose, free from the distractions and noise that might otherwise cloud their vision. This quiet time allows them to strip away external expectations and tap into a wisdom that transcends everyday concerns, helping them to see their path more clearly. Solitude gives chosen ones the opportunity to listen to their own thoughts, to reflect deeply, and to nurture the sense of purpose that resides within them. In this space, they can recharge, reconnect, and realign with their calling, gaining the clarity they need to move forward. It's here, in moments of introspection, that they find the insights and guidance that keep them on track, allowing them to stay true to the path they feel destined to walk. Through solitude, chosen ones cultivate a sense of clarity that is essential to fulfilling their purpose. When they step away from the world's demands and tune into their own inner wisdom, they find that their direction becomes clearer. Solitude becomes a means of tuning into their higher self, helping them discern what truly matters and what aligns with their purpose. This process of self-alignment empowers them to live authentically, making choices that resonate with their soul rather than conforming to societal pressures. Consider a chosen one spending time in nature or simply sitting in quiet meditation. In these moments, They reconnect with themselves and gain a broader perspective on their life and their purpose. They understand that their journey is not just for their own benefit but is, in fact, part of a greater good. This clarity becomes a source of strength, reminding them that the sacrifices and challenges they face are meaningful, even if they aren't always immediately understood by others. So, what can we learn from the journey of the chosen one? There are powerful insights and lessons that resonate not only with those who feel called to this path, but with anyone seeking a more authentic and fulfilling life. First, authenticity is a transformative force. Living true to oneself is not only liberating, but it also has a ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same. When we choose to live authentically, we give permission for others to explore their own truths, to let go of the masks they wear, and to embrace who they genuinely are. Chosen ones show us that living authentically isn't about fitting in or gaining approval. It's about honoring one's values, standing firm in one's beliefs, and living in a way that feels deeply aligned. This journey toward authenticity might require courage and resilience, but the fulfillment it brings is well worth it. In many ways, chosen ones lead by example, showing that staying true to oneself, even when it feels challenging, is a gift to both oneself and the world. Second, boundaries are essential. Protecting one's energy and carefully choosing relationships are not just helpful practices. They are essential for growth and well-being, especially for those who feel called to a higher purpose. Chosen ones teach us that we don't need to surround ourselves with everyone or engage in every interaction. Instead, quality over quantity becomes a guiding principle. By prioritizing relationships that are respectful, supportive, and genuine, chosen ones create a nurturing environment for themselves, allowing them to thrive and to continue on their path with strength and focus. Imagine choosing a few meaningful friendships over a broad network of acquaintances. These friendships aren't based on convenience or status. They're based on mutual respect, shared values, and authentic connection. In these relationships, chosen ones find a sense of belonging and support, a place where they can be their true selves without feeling drained. This lesson reminds us all that it's okay to set boundaries, to prioritize our own needs, and to seek out connections that uplift and energize us. Lastly, solitude can be a sacred tool for self-discovery and healing. In a world that often equates busyness with productivity and social activity with success, solitude can feel uncomfortable or even intimidating. But chosen ones reveal to us the value of solitude as a powerful practice for connecting with oneself. In moments of quiet reflection, we gain clarity, heal from past wounds, and rediscover our purpose. Solitude isn't something to fear or avoid. It's an essential part of personal growth, a time to reconnect with our inner guidance and to cultivate a sense of peace that we can carry with us into the world. Imagine taking time each day to simply be with yourself, away from distractions, just allowing your thoughts to settle and your spirit to recharge. This kind of solitude isn't about isolation. It's about reconnecting with your core, finding a sense of wholeness within. Chosen ones show us that solitude is not a retreat from life but a return to oneself, a place where we find strength, wisdom, and healing. In honoring their unique journey, chosen ones remind us of the power of introspection, resilience, and integrity. They show us that a meaningful life is often shaped not by what we acquire or achieve, but by how deeply we connect with ourselves, how true we are to our values, and how courageously we walk our path. This journey isn't always easy. It requires self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to stand apart when necessary. But chosen ones demonstrate that by honoring our inner truth, we can create a life that feels fulfilling, grounded, and purpose-driven. So, how can we apply these lessons in our own lives? Start by embracing authenticity in your daily actions. Even in small ways, speak your truth, honor your values, and make choices that align with who you truly are. Practice setting boundaries in your relationships, choosing connections that uplift and support you rather than drain or deplete you. And finally, make time for solitude, allowing yourself moments of quiet reflection to gain clarity. release stress, and reconnect with your inner self. These practices may feel challenging at first, but over time, they become sources of strength and fulfillment. By following these principles, we create a life that is not only aligned with our values but also more meaningful. A life that is deeply satisfying on a soul level. Let this video serve as a guide, a reminder that the path of authenticity may be challenging, but it's ultimately rewarding. It's a journey that invites us to live fully, to connect deeply, and to walk with integrity. The lessons we learn from chosen ones are gifts, reminders that we are capable of living a life that feels true and fulfilling. Thank you for taking this time with me to explore these insights. If any of this resonates with you, know that you're not alone on this journey. There are others who feel the same calling, who understand the struggles and the joys of living authentically. Feel free to share your experiences in the comments. Your story might be the encouragement or inspiration that someone else needs. And if you're interested in more content on spirituality, personal growth, and the path of self-discovery, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, remember that the path of the chosen one, though sometimes solitary, is a journey of purpose, courage, and inner strength. Embrace it, honor it, and know that by living authentically, you are bringing something beautiful and valuable to the world.